the same shirt. I've been wearing this shirt for like, I don't even know how many days now. I have changed my pants, my underwear. I change my underwear pretty much every day, sometimes every other day, but I try every single day. And the reason I say sometimes every single other day is because like one time this week I forgot to change my underwear before I went to bed. So, but got some cashews, got some water, and I got this the other day. I got tomatoes, apples, pretzels, these things, a can of beans. I think what else I got. I got lemon tea mix. It's like I think it's green tea or black tea. I think it's black tea and lemon. And I got sunflower seeds. Yep. So, yesterday, I really didn't eat a whole lot. Like, I'm trying to remember what I had yesterday. I don't remember. I'm the worst about that. That's why I get that app. It's like MyFitnessPal. And I write down what I've eaten. That tiny little hole. I wonder if that means a bug got in it. No, wait, maybe not, because this one has it too. Cashews are expensive, so I got hardly any. This is what's left. I've probably eaten like 3 times as much as that already. That threw me off track. So since I didn't eat a whole lot yesterday, mostly just like sunflower seeds and some cereal, and had pineapple, bananas. I can't remember what else I had, but I'm saying apple, I can't remember. Anyways, so I was pretty hungry. And last night, I was thinking about it, and like my whole life, I dealt with like being starved and malnutrition and stuff because of my dad abusing me. But since I moved out and ran away and been on my own and everything, I realized, oh, I need to focus on what I'm eating, because I had a whole lot of toxic patterns, a whole lot of habits, and just things that I'd always done my whole childhood that I thought was normal, and then I one day realized that it isn't normal. So I've been working on it. And yesterday, since I didn't eat as much as I normally would, at the end of the day, I was thinking, like, man, I'm so hungry. But it wasn't like before. Like when I was constantly malnourished, my body was in a state of keto a lot, which is not healthy for a developing child to be constantly in starvation mode. And that's what that means. A lot of people think, oh, keto and then keto diet or whatever. Like, kids that are on keto diets, I mean, as long as they're healthy and their pediatrician is like, oh yeah, they're growing and they're healthy or whatever, like, I don't care. But for me, it was like my body was in ketoacidosis because I was constantly in starvation and I was chronically malnourished. But not enough that the charts and stuff, like, because he would keep me like 1 pound in the clear of like, technically I'm not malnourished yet, so technically they couldn't do anything about it. But I did a scan at the gym and my bone density is not enough. I'm lacking a lot of minerals, a lot of vitamins. I don't have enough fat, like, to protect my organs and stuff. Obviously don't have any muscle. So I've been eating more. I keep going back to this because I need to make my point already. But yesterday I realized, like, oh, I'm hungry. But it was different. And before I started trying to eat more and be healthy, when I would be hungry, I would be so hungry and I would be tired and I'd be angry and I would be aggressive. And I would be so hungry, I didn't even want to eat. I would be so hungry, if I ate, I would throw up. I would be so hungry all the time. As a kid, I would try to eat like plastic toys and stuff because my dad wouldn't let me have real food a lot of times. And I was always hungry. So I thought when it, got even worse, and I would think, oh, now I'm hungry, because my normal was always hungry. So I thought, well, that's a normal feeling that everyone has all the time. And then when I feel so bad that I feel physically weak, that I'm passing out, that's hungry. But yesterday I was thinking, like, man, like, it started off with like not thinking I'm hungry, because that's not what I think of hunger as. I think of hunger as like literally passing out, being too physically weak to even pick up something that weighs like 2 pounds. But so yesterday I was thinking about eating all these foods because I do DoorDash, and I delivered someone their milkshake and I spilled it in my car. And I thought, what if I just like grabbed it and like ate it? And of course I thought, no, that's gross, because like it got all over my dirty car. And also, I don't usually eat stuff like that. It's high in sugar. I try not to eat dairy. So I was like, why would I do that? I just need to clean my car and get on with the next order because I need money. So I cleaned my car and went on with the next order, and it was something weird. It was like octopus from a Tokyo restaurant. The name of the restaurant was like Tokyo something. And that kind of stuff I'm not into. Like, there is different types of seafood that I do like, but octopus is one of those things I've never tried. And I was thinking, man, octopus sounds really good. I wonder if my boyfriend will take me on a date to this place and we can try octopus. And then I had another order and I was thinking, and I just want a soda, because I was looking at the sodas and I was like, I should just get a Coke. I should just get a Dr. Pepper from somewhere. And I quit soda a while ago. I used to be seriously on the whole Dr. Pepper train. I was one of those people. A die-hard Dr. Pepper fan. I didn't go so far as to not drink water, but 3 or 4 Dr. Peppers a day. But I haven't done that in years. Well, I haven't, years. And then for the past, like, probably month or so, I haven't really had any kind of energy drinks or anything. Every now and then I'll have an energy drink, but it's pretty rare. But I was thinking, man, I just want a Coke, I want a soda. And I was thinking, man, why am I thinking about eating all these weird foods that I would normally not eat? Like, why does that sound so appetizing to me? Well, it's because those foods are like high calorie, and those foods have a lot of sugar, which would give me energy instantly. That would be an instant reward. But also that's what my body was telling me, like, hey, you need something, you need it fast because you're already hungry. And I wasn't logically thinking, oh, I'm hungry. I was just, my subconscious mind knew I was hungry. So I go through the night and then finish off the night and had a small little dinner. I didn't have much for dinner. I think I had some cereal without milk, obviously, because I'm in my car. There's no way to keep it good. So I just ate on some cereal and maybe some sunflower seeds and went to sleep. Got up this morning and took my vitamins. And they say on the packaging, take with or without food. So I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. And I was taking my vitamins and I was like, oh, this is so good. Like, I was so hungry. Like, what? That was not enough food to like satisfy me, obviously. So I started realizing, like, oh, I'm hungry. Like, this is what hunger actually feels like. So I came out here to Whole Foods and these cashews that, I've been snacking on. And the whole time I was walking around Whole Foods, I went in and I was thinking, man, I should get these expensive chips I used to always get. I should get some cheese, some string cheese, even though I would have to either eat the whole pack all at once or let some of it go bad or give some of it away to someone else. But that's expensive, so I don't want to do that. And I was thinking, well, I should get some donuts. Well, I need some ice cream. The whole thing of ice cream, I could just eat like a Ben and Jerry's dairy-free thing of ice cream. I could just probably knock that out in one setting. I was thinking I could get, those packs of cookie dough that's like safe to eat. I was like, one of those, and I could eat the whole thing. So I just stuck to what I normally buy: cashews, sunflower seeds, tomatoes, apple. And I got those healthy bite things. I was like, this is gonna be your one cheat, So I got those. I also got some beans. And everything I got. I said it in the beginning of the video. But so I was like, I'm just gonna stick to what I normally get. But I was walking down the store, just like, man, like, ooh, those like expensive coffee chocolate thingies look so good, and that looks so good over there, and and I was saying, like, man, like chicken sounds good, even though I haven't had anything like chicken or pork or beef, anything like that. I haven't had in years. I was literally like 17 the last time I had that stuff. I'll be right back, probably. Anyways, I had to go back in. So about this. Needed to use the bathroom. If you're not comfortable hearing about stuff, bathroom talk, at least this part of the video is not for you. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about later on. I never know what we're going to talk about. I never script these, obviously. But, yeah, so the bathroom. Let's talk about that. Talking about dehydration and malnutrition. The first one is, when I was a kid, my urine was always, like, super dark, like, not just kind of yellow, but, like, extremely dark yellow. Like, almost like I don't know, just very, very dark. I guess not really a brown, but just a very dark color. And my dad, being abusive, would tell me that's normal. I even learned at school one day when I was a little bit older. I was probably in like high school, middle school age. And I came home and I was like, hey, they showed us this chart at school that shows that if your urine is yellow, then you're dehydrated. And the more yellow it is, the more dehydrated you are. And my urine's like always really super dark yellow. He's like, that's stupid. They'll just teach kids anything these days. Your urine's supposed to be yellow. That's normal. And if you drink too much water, then you'll shut down your kidneys. Don't you know that if you drink too much water, you'll hurt your kidneys? And I know someone who died because they drank too much water, and their kidneys got damaged because they drank so much water. Anyways, so that was one of the first things I started working on once I moved out and realized, like, okay, a lot of these things I thought was normal my whole life is not normal, so I need to focus on them. For a lot of people, they don't need to focus on those things because they were taught how to eat right, they were taught how to drink right, they were taught how to do these things correctly. And so you don't really think about it. You just kind of, as an adult or young adult, I just kind of assumed that everything I was doing was correct. And then once I started realizing that most of the things I do are wrong, I needed to figure out and pinpoint exactly what it is I'm doing that's wrong and what it is that I'm doing that I can keep. And when it comes to nutrition, that was a really big thing. So I started working on hydration. And I remember I was working at um, a call center, and it was pretty normal for people to be like, oh, the only thing I ever drink is Dr. Pepper. I don't even drink water. So I thought I was doing good. I thought, I drink water. People, oh, the only thing I drink is Coke, or the only thing I drink is Diet Coke. I never drink water. So I thought I'm doing pretty good, if compared to that. But that isn't what it's about, like comparing yourself to other people. And changed jobs, started working at a warehouse, and they had this chart in the bathroom that showed like the different colors of urine. And I remember that time when I was a kid, and the first time I had seen that chart, and I told my dad about it, and he was convinced me that it was just bullshit. And I remember seeing that chart again, and I thought, that's something I need to work on, right? So I started drinking more water and started to feel better, and got to a point to where my urine is sometimes clear or usually a light yellow. And now I'm at a point where I'm trying to get it to where it's like usually clear or always clear. And then the other thing is nutrition. And so this might be the part that's going to be more disturbing for some people, um, or more of like an ick factor. So, if you're not really into that kind of thing, don't watch. But, so when I was a kid, I always thought like I was healthy in that department because my cousin, we're the same age, he would always complain about being constipated. And he always ate fast food. His mom works at a Burger King. He ate Taco Bell all the time, fast food all the time. And even the food they had in their house was always like TV dinners and packaged processed food, chips, Mountain Dew. And that was his diet. He just ate ramen and cereal pretty much every day. And so I thought, I'm doing pretty good because I had a little bit better of a diet. I mean, I ate those things as well, but not every single day. I usually ate fruits and vegetables, and my grandparents have a farm, so they have friends that have farms as well. So sometimes I'd eat fresh farm chicken, or we would just eat, home cooked meals a lot. Always ate like their eggs that they gathered from their chickens. If they slaughtered a cow, then we would have different cuts of beef that we would eat. I went hunting as a kid, so I would have veal, and went fishing as a kid, so I'd have catfish, and just so I never really dealt with constipation like that. My cousin was always complaining about constipation, and so I thought, well, I'm healthy in that department. And when I was 17, I decided to go vegan, and I realized like actually I wasn't that healthy in that department because I started having more bowel movements more regularly and doing more research into the vegan diet. That was a really big thing that a lot of people talk about, is that whenever they switch diets because they were eating healthier, they were having better bowel movements, and that it was like every day, and before it would be every couple of days. And that's kind of normal, as in that's like common, but it isn't healthy to have a bowel movement every couple of days. You're supposed to have a bowel movement after every time you eat, and that's pretty much what I do. Is 2 or 3 times a day I have a bowel movement. And so when I went vegan, then again that kind of, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm healthy in that department now. Clearly it wasn't before, but now I am, because now I'm eating healthier foods. And when I went vegan, a big thing is I stopped eating as much processed, like fast food and stuff, because there's really not a whole lot of fast food options. So, but I was still eating processed food, obviously. And that's another thing I'm going to talk about next, is the processed food. But then when I started eating more and I started focusing on eating more, I realized that I was having bigger bowel movements, and that was kind of like a shocker to me. I was like, "Oh wow!" Like I did not realize that like that was such a visual for me. Like I knew I was malnourished, I knew I was under eating, and then when I made that change and started eating more, that was like a huge visual for me, and I was like, "Wow, that's a big difference right there." And so, um, yeah. And then, yeah, so we'll change topics off of that and go into talking about processed foods. So, I mean, as a kid, I ate a lot of processed foods for sure, but whenever I started buying my own food, when I got my first job and stuff, and I was responsible for buying my own food, I relied heavily on processed foods. And there was a lot of factors that played into that. The domestic abuse had a big thing to do with that. I didn't have the freedom to be in the kitchen for long periods of time, because if I was in the kitchen and then he came home, and he would just randomly come home sometimes, and if I was in the kitchen and I couldn't just stop what I was doing, then he would attack me. So um, I relied heavily on processed food, because it's like if I can microwave it in less than a couple of minutes, I'm not standing in there in danger. I remember even like picking out stuff that was like, I would look at it and it would say like microwave for 15 minutes. And I'm like, that's a no go, because I can't be in the kitchen for 15 minutes. If I'm in there and he pulls in the yard and it still has 10 minutes left on it, I'm screwed. My options are to abandon it in the microwave and then get attacked for having food in the microwave, or stand there and wait on it and get attacked physically. So, um, I was very reliant on processed foods, and especially packaged foods like chips and things I could take to my room and have in my room with me. And but that cost a lot of money, and I was responsible for buying my own food. So I would invest in these products that wouldn't give me a whole lot, but it cost a whole lot of money. So I would spend $3 or $4 on a bag of chips, or I would spend $5 or $6 on some like protein bars things, or I would spend just all this money on like protein shakes that were pre-made, or I got to where I started eating canned food, and I was like, that's once I discovered I could do that, that was kind of a relief, because that's a little bit cheaper at least. And so I just kept a supply of silverware in my room and a can opener, obviously, and then I would eat in my room canned food. And but I was still eating a lot of processed junk. And since I was paying so much money for the processed junk, I couldn't get a whole lot of food when I went shopping. Then I would have just not have a whole lot of food. And I was so used to being constantly malnourished that that wasn't really a big deal. And so even though I was healthier because I was vegan and eating healthier foods, I was still not eating enough food. And then that's something I've been working on more recently, is that. And especially when I first started working at the warehouse, I realized I have more energy when I eat enough. So I started working on that. And then that's when I noticed the changes in the bathroom on that department, and then realized like, okay, I need to, still work on this. My diet is not perfect, obviously. So something big I have to work on. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's weird learning any kind of skill that you were mistaught as a kid, having to relearn it. It's a whole process, because you were taught wrong during your development. So your brain is physically wired to do it the wrong way. And then you have to actively make a choice to not do it that way. And sometimes you have bad days and you revert back to just your old habits, because it's simpler and it's easier on your brain. And you gotta constantly fight it every day, because that's just how your brain works now.